What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mark Howard, and you know what we do. We talk Cowboys here. Thank you guys for checking it out and watching the show here. Hey, we finished the preseason of games, the exhibition games, the last one, and the Cowboys looked pretty impressive in that one. More so, Joe Milton looked more consistent, and the Cowboys were actually able to win that game, 31-13 over the Atlanta Falcons. But it was an impressive showing from a lot of places, but mainly for Joe Milton. Joe Milton is slotted to be the backup quarterback to the second quarterback to Dak Prescott. And the first two games, I know he had lacked for reps, and Coach Schottenheimer and the offense has been dedicated to get him those reps. First two games, he had looked god awful, and the Cowboys faithful, including myself, were basically very, very unimpressed. Very, very unimpressed. A lot of Cowboys fans scary. Hey, Dak, stay healthy. And still got to wish that he's not going to come in and change the game, change the season for us. But it was good to see Milton put together a good game and play consistently well throughout. No interceptions. He went 10 of 18, good percentage there, 132 yards pass, and even threw a touchdown pass at the end of Jalen Brooks. Also for us, we with Atlanta, we did pretty well. Only gave up 13 points. In fact, in the last drive Atlanta had, they drove down the field, got inside the 20, was trying to score, and the defense held there and was able to hold them without any points. And showed some pride, especially some of those other backups, most of which likely will not make the team or be on the practice squad, but getting some good reps is very, very important. Elijah Dotson did run on us pretty well. It's a running game, running defense. We're still trying to improve. Dotson for Atlanta had 74 yards, averaged about 6 yards a carry. Passing wise, Easton Stick passed for 198 yards. Had a touchdown and an interception thrown. Dallas actually did well. We were able to force a couple of turnovers, so was able to get a couple of turnovers in that game. Just again, we got to do better on the run. But I'm looking at the backups, and as they're figuring out people and where, and as they get it together on that defensive front, including, sign Micah, when they get that on that front, that they'll be better on they'll get everything in the right combination against the run. We hope. We've been hoping for a long time, so we can only wait and see. But I think this was a good look for the Cowboys, the coaching staff. I think a good mixture of plays, run, pass. We ran the ball definitely more than we passed. We ran the ball more than they ran. And we passed the ball. Our pass attempts were less than their pass attempts. With stats for the Cowboys there, Joe Milton, again, had a good game. 10 for 18 from the field for 132 yards passing, threw a touchdown. Got it to Jalen Brooks. Jalen Brooks didn't do bad. He had 2 receptions, one of them being a touchdown. And 35 yards total. So that's a good average. That's over 15 yards, over 16 yards per pass reception. The leader in receptions, though, for us as far as the wide receivers was Ryan Flournoy. Excuse me. He had 4 receptions for 45 yards. Had the most receptions, had the most yards. Played a solid game. Flournoy is definitely going to be a receiver that's going to make the team. Definitely playing special teams. He has some talent and potential. So we'll see. We'll talk about that a little bit here as well. But Flournoy played well. Fairweather had a couple of good receptions, 2 receptions for 41 yards. That's over 20 yards a catch. So he made some splash plays. Running game. Our preseason favorite here, well, the guy who loved to play very well in the preseason is Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn had 42 yards off of 10 carries. 42 yards, that's 4 yards a carry, which is a good average you want to have in a running game. But again, he's bursty. And again, he's just shown this in the preseason. Now, a lot of people say he's just shown the preseason, hasn't really shown anything in the regular season. Some can say he hasn't had a chance to show what he could do in the regular season too much to be able to put anything together. But we'll know. His size, there's just limitations of what he can do. And this is his third year. I don't know. We'll talk about that too as well. We're going to talk about who I feel, or questions on where positions are going to be down to when we get down to the final roster cuts. What was key too in the running game is our rookie Jadon Blue, the 5th round pick, finally was able and healthy to play practice and then also get some reps here for the first time in the preseason. He did show pretty well. Jadon Blue got rushed for 25 yards on 9 carries and scored a touchdown. He looks very bursty. He can hit the hole. Again, he runs a 4.140, so he's typical running speed where he can go to the house at any time. In the open field, he can go to the house. He's got some moves. He saw the holes. He was able to cut back, make that step, planting that foot in the ground, and he's going to burst through that hole. He's going to get positive yardage. So I like that. Also, Mava just solid and consistent. He runs straight forward. He's a power back, and he plays with hard energy. Got only 2 carries, but 16 yards, and scored a touchdown. All right, 16 yards or 2 carries, that's 8 yards a pop. Okay, again, running backs aren't typically going to average that much, but again, if your limited production, your limited attempts shows you some good production out of those limited attempts, that's all you can do when you're trying to make a team. I say this when I'm coaching or talking with kids that are coaching with basketball, that, hey, whether you get 2 minutes or 20 minutes, it's what you do in those minutes that's going to matter. So if you're coming in for a couple of minutes, do something. And then that'll give you the opportunity to increase your minutes. So I like Mafa. I am one of those that's kind of fearful that he'll get plucked off waivers if he doesn't make the team. He's my odds-on favorite to be able to play and contribute to us if he doesn't make roster day one. But there's a lot of teams with running backs that necessarily don't have to necessarily pluck from their own. You keep your other running backs, put them on your practice squad because they've been in camp. Why bring in another rookie or another unproven player, experience-wise, to another team and have to learn another system? So I think we'll be okay keeping Mafa. Overall, I thought that this preseason was interesting. And I'm talking about as far as the exhibition games and things like that, along with the training camp. There were a couple of things that probably a lot of people scratched their head about with the drills for the players. There were no one-on-ones in the training camp. No one-on-ones. That's pretty standard with a lot of teams, just to get that chance to show what you can do. But Schottenheimer, I think, has a different thought process. Obviously, has a mentor that did it old school style, and his dad, and didn't see the need for the one-on-ones. So we'll see if this works. We got a good mix of talent. Look, Cowboys got talent. Of the guys who didn't dress, we know starters and guys who didn't dress. We're excited to see those guys. They weren't going to dress for preseason games. They were only going to dress in practice and for practices and inter-team, inter-team practices where, like when we had the Rams come over, they were going to play then. But preseason games, they like to hold them out, preserve them, don't get an injury for the season, start the season, so they come in the game one healthy. Been the case, been fine. I have no complaints about that. Many would like to have seen Dak in the first squad get, do a series, but that's just not something that's necessary. So I'm optimistic with some of the young talent who are playing that will mix in with the veteran talent. Now, will we have depth? We'll see. I think we'll have depth in certain spots. Depth in certain spots where, look, everybody that's that played. Obviously, you saw a majority of probably 11 to 15 players that are starters that didn't play uh, uh, at all in the preseason game. So you're looking at all those guys that are playing here. A, a good amount of those weren't going to make the team. Those who do, some of them will be some starters. Some of them will be key rotationary players. So our depth will be at least good, maybe not great, but they may be at best good. But I don't think we'll be terrible in depth. uh, for us moving forward, this is what I want to talk about. Now, speaking of that depth, looking at the depth charts and looking for the team, I'm looking at spots as to who we're going to keep where, who's going to stay and who's going to go. So, looking down and breaking things down position wise, these decisions are going to be key. Now, here's the big thing: quarterback. Obviously, Dak is a starter. Between the two, Will Grier, who's gotten very little reps, gotten late reps in the fourth quarter. Milton has gone 3 quarters on all 3 preseason games, and Grier's come out. Look, we know Grier is at the ceiling of what he's going to be able to do, and his ceiling is somewhere where you're going to feel that, hey, Milton with practice and training and development has a higher ceiling potentially. So this is where you look at it with Milton. And now Milton didn't look good in the first 2 games. What I want to start with, you look, like I said, downright awful, inaccurate, unsettled there, but showed now the potential. And I'm sure he's done some things in practice where they still believe in him enough. But now he put it together in a game situation, which I think gives Schottenheimer and the coaching staff some more confidence to say, we'll stick with him at number 2. Now, a lot of people would say, and I would think, I could tend to agree that, God forbid, if there's an injury for Dak Prescott and number 1 has to go out, knock on wood, we hope not, for a game, say maybe he's out and he just kind of had a little tension here and there and they got to miss a game, we'll go with Will Grier. He's a little bit more solid, trained, experienced backup. If, really, God forbid, that he has something that's more lengthy, where he's got to miss 4 to 5 games, then they'll just go with Milton and work with him and give him more game experience. Again, the way Milton has looked, I don't know what they may be thinking. Now, my question of that, when I bring all that, will the Cowboys suit up 3 quarterbacks? Will they suit up 3? Have just the backup being Milton, and Grier doesn't suit up and he's practice squad? Or there's always game time decision whether they're going to suit him up, the roster change. Or I'm tending to think they're going to just go with 2 quarterbacks. Again, Will Grier would come in if there was a need for, like we said, in those type of scenarios. So we'll see. But I'm banking more that it'll be 2 quarterbacks they keep. So you're looking at 2 quarterbacks there. Running backs. Interesting. Cowboys has, since Ezekiel Elliott, really haven't put time in the stock in the draft, and definitely don't do it in free agent market to try to bring in a top flight running back. So with the running backs here, they have brought some other free agents. They don't do top flight, but they'll get some backs in free agents. Got Miles Sanders, who looks to be, well, there's some question about whether they'll stick with him or not. But Javonte Williams, who has not played any preseason, would tend to believe that he's definitely been solidified as a back, number 1 or not. He's definitely the back that they're preserving. They're going to keep because they haven't needed to have a look at him in the exhibition games. Miles Sanders, who is a veteran, he's had his injury, went to Carolina, didn't really show well. I guess they're wondering there. So that's kind of sketchy where they'll go there. Deuce Vaughn, we talked about that as well. They haven't really given him much reps or opportunities in the regular season. Um, I don't know. I'm looking at this as it goes into the third year. That will they go with him in the practice squad again? Will they put him on the roster? Will he be a suit up for the first game and get some opportunities? He's not doing anything much on the special teams. They don't, I mean, they have other options for kick returner. So I don't know with Deuce Vaughn. I think he's gonna be a casual. I don't think he'll be a running back they keep. They brought back Malik Davis because of some of the injuries, especially with Jadon Blue. He looked good. He's a veteran, and he's an explosive back as well. Don't think they're gonna keep him. Um, with the way Jadon Blue looked, I believe they're gonna keep. Fifth rounds don't necessarily have to get picked. You get the first four guys who are gonna more likely make the team. They're gonna most likely make the team. Fifth rounders. Now don't get me wrong. We got 2 fifth rounders. Okay, Blue being one of them, and then our linebacker, who I got to say the Shimo Nilly. Sorry, but the guys, the linebacker that they had drafted, Shamar James, out of Florida. He was the second 5th round pick. Didn't look bad. Had an interception last night against against Atlanta. I'm looking at a news flash. I got a little held up. I'm looking at a news flash for us. Says that Coach Brian Schottenheimer is planning to meet with Micah Parsons. So on a side note, we'll see what that does. Again, Micah Parsons is under contract. So technically, if he holds out during the year, it's going to cost him. He's making more money this year the way the contracts unfold, so he can't not say that. But he's been basically a hold-in training camp, but not suiting up. We'll see. So the plan, to talk, to look, to see what's going on. Mike, at this point, I'd love for him to sign the extension. You deserve it. And Jerry Jones has been talking about a lot of stuff here and there. I don't want to get too deep into it as much, but you listened with Jerry Jones. He spoke in a conversation with Stephen A. Smith from ESPN or from his podcast directly. Also had a conversation with Michael Irvin. So he's been talking about what he's done. I think at the end of the day, he feels what he feels based on the fact that, hey, we'd work something out. And Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones. He's a businessman. He doesn't have to extend it. He knows what he can do with Michael Parsons, and Michael Parsons will get paid. He will get paid. He can do the rest. He was going to do the rest of his contract anyway. He was going to have the rest of his contract anyway. It was only going to be extended. It wasn't going to be a new ripped up. They weren't going to rip up the contract and then start a new one from this year on. He was going to play out this, and then you would be extended going on with new money from there. They franchise tag him. He's going to make some top dollar out of that, but it will only be for 1 year, and they can do it the second year as well. It's not necessarily cap friendly, so something will get worked out. But I think with Schottenheimer talking with Parsons, get an idea, hey, let's get ready for the season, what you're going to do. Because it's time to get out in the field and see where you're at. All right? I'm sure that back is healed by now. Anyway, but going back to the running backs, Blue, I like, again, his explosiveness. He's not the bell cow back. That's why I think they're probably going to go more to Javonte Williams as the first part of the load of carries. Sanders is an experienced back. How does he look off of that knee? Does he have it? Because like Jadon Blue, he was a bursty back with speed, a little bigger, and obviously more experienced. My key one is Phil Maffa. Phil Maffa has been very explosive and very consistent throughout the playoffs, throughout the preseason. I think there's no way, and he's a 7th round pick, I think there's no way that the Cowboys want to let him go. But I think numbers-wise, with all the other veterans, they're going to go with let these veterans prove themselves first. And Maffa will just still be under development with the team on the practice squad. That's okay. I do think the way this game is, and we're going to be running the ball, Maffa is going to get his chance during the season. Right? I'll be pleasantly surprised if he does make the roster to start the season, but I will be surprised based on what I'm seeing, what I'm looking at. He's my long shot, but I believe in him. Like I said, my call was that he's gonna play. He's gonna play this season, and once he does play, that's probably where some of the veterans is in there, where they'll become expendable. But right now, they're gonna stick with the veterans. I can see that's the way it's going. Fullback wise, a part of the running backs, that's the other wild card. Lipke, they like Lipke. Lipke is in. They're also using them in some tight end roles, which is also key for that position I'm going to talk about. But Lipke has grown and showed that he's a valuable back as far as a blocker, another pass catcher, and he can break a 4-yard run in short yard situations. So they like him. Tight ends, that's the key thing there. How many will they keep? Okay, Ferguson's in. You haven't seen him there. Haven't seen Schoonmaker in any exhibition games. I think they may be settled on him. Obviously, Brevin Spann-Ford is the other tight end. I think the fight has been between him and Schoonmaker for number 2. I think Spann-Ford had really taken the number 2 spot at tight ends. So now it's to the rest of the tight ends to see what they're going to do. John Stevens, again, has had a couple of drops earlier. Didn't do anything particularly highly special to say, he's a lock or he's a danger to get a spot. He's probably going to be practice squad. But what's the other? Noah Fant put a nice block on the guy. Went on one of the plays there. I think Flauner had a good yardage play on the pass, and he put somebody on it behind. So I like him. And then there's Fairweather. Fairweather caught the touchdown, and he's been pretty solid. I think with Schoonmaker hasn't expressed himself to be any better than these other younger guys. These younger guys haven't proven to be better than Schoonmaker. So now it's experience. New coaches have, but Schottenheimer's been there, so he knows who Schoonmaker is. To me, it's going to be down to personal choice and experience and probably little minutia things here and there. Will that be that 4th tight end? I don't know. Lipke could fill in that role, so they may only keep 3. Ferguson, Spann-Ford, and again, who that 3rd one will be. I am almost liking Fairchild in this, but I think more likely it's going to be Schoonmaker. But don't leave out, don't rule out, don't be surprised if Fairweather gets that job. I think there's going to be some trades and stuff like that going to be made and moved for some people, and that's where where they adjust some of these roster spots as well. Schoonmaker could be a trade. Okay, one of the running backs could be a trade that I'm thinking about as well. Wide receivers are set. Now the question with them has been: are they going to take 5? Or are they going to go 6? I think they're going to take 5. I think they're going to take 5. So we're looking at Lamb and Pickens, of course, Cavante Turpin, of course. Tolbert will be in, and with the injury to Mango, that really locks in Flournoy. Of the other receivers, I do like Trayshawn Holden. Definitely is worth keeping. Jalen Brooks as well. Don't think Josh Kelly's gonna make it at all. He'll be out in the street. So the wide receivers are pretty set with that 5 there. Now, going on the defensive side, defensive lineman. I'm curious about Mozzie Smith's fate. Made a nice play. Made a tackle in the backfield. I mean, he got through unblocked. If they're not going to block Mozzie, he'll be great. But what they'll use him for and how they'll use him, I don't know if they'll need to. He's had to play a good extensive amount of minutes in his exhibition. So that means he's had to prove himself to prove a job or prove where he's going to be on a team. Again, this is his third year. It's definitely a prove it year, or it could be a point where it's, you know what, you've already proved enough. I think he's a big mystery, and he could be expendable. So I'm not saying that he is, but he could be. I think there's going to be down some things inside the camp between the coaches, the players, personal feel as to whether they'll move forward with him or whether they'll move on. You know, what Jones is going to do as well at the end of the day. Cornerbacks. Cornerbacks are set as far as who's who, but the who's who, a lot of the who's who are injured. Obviously, Trayvon Diggs is not going to be back for a few weeks. Trayshawn Holden is not going to be back to a few more weeks this season. Kalen Carson, I don't know what the deal. He's going to be out for a little while, but the caveat for him is he hasn't had a chance to be in there much to prove himself, and his injuries may just make him completely expendable in my book. So who's going to start today? Deron Bland is our one solid veteran, all-pro corner that's available. At that point, you're looking at Kyer Elam, who looked really well. He didn't have to play in the preseason, so I imagine he's going to be on the side. The other question is going to be who's in the slot. A lot of people like Zion Childress in that slot. They were looking at using Israel Amukamara, or even Kamon Hall. Kamon Hall looked pretty good last night too in there. But Zion Childress has looked pretty solid consistently. With combining the uses of the safeties. Mukwamo is more like the safety cornerback. Even Malik Hooker could be probably utilizing that slot situation. They're really playing a lot of patchwork with these corners. Until Trayvon Diggs come back, looks good with that knee, looks healed, and then also Kalen Carson, see what he does, and then also again Siobhan Ravel, I'm looking for in 2026. He's a rookie. He hasn't got on the field from the time span of him being hurt. It's still going to take some time for him to get used to and acclimated to what's going on. So I almost would say don't even play him because I don't want him to look bad. I don't want him to look bad on that, you know. So the corners is going to be a big mystery there. The safeties, everything is. I think they're pretty set as far as which pair will start. Could be Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker, or Wanya Thomas and Marquise Bell. I think it's probably going to be Thomas starting and Malik Hooker starting at free. Otherwise, that's where we're set with punter and kicker. So that's the question. Cuts are going to be coming next week. Season starts September 4th as we get ready to play the Philadelphia Eagles. And I no predictions. We can talk about some predictions as far as what you think we will do. I'm not too worried about this team. It's a mystery to see what they have and really, be honest with you, I'm not too in a mystery of the players per se as I am in what the coaching has developed for them, what system they have, and how they will handle the end game. They got experienced coaches there, but how this will go game to game and the adjustments that are being made and how the game is going to be called offensively and defensively. So that's what I got here for you there. I'm looking here at a couple things I'm going to call. But anyway, that's what I got here. Is what I think. Chime into the podcast. Tell me what you think, what you see. Definitely welcome. And we definitely appreciate you watching us, tuning in. Any questions, any suggestions, please let me know. All right, good, bad, or anywhere in between. I ain't scared. All right. Thank you for watching. We talk Cowboys here. My name is Mark Howard. Peace out.